Welcome to Blue Talks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley, and I am a recovering control addict. This is the part where you're supposed to say, "Hi, Ashley."
Hi, Ashley.
I used to try to control everything in my life, every opportunity, every outcome, every situation, and I was really good at it too. I was the person that planned everything down to the second. Show of hands if you've ever created an itinerary for a family vacation down to the minute. I know you're out there. I can see you plastering that itinerary onto the bathroom mirror so all your family could see it. 7 a.m. wake up, 7:02 brush your teeth, 7:03 floss. I used to be that person. And I'm here today to share with you how I've gone from control to flow and how I truly embody freedom in my life and how it's possible for you too. The year was 2008. I was newly married. I just landed my dream job. More money, better vacation, and stability. And I thought I had it all together. And I also had a pension in my 20s. I thought I was living the dream. In less than a year into that role, I had my first year planned out. I would work for about 3 months or so, and then my new husband and I would start our family. And at the end of that first year, we would celebrate by welcoming our son or daughter into the world. The plan was set, and I was so excited to start this next chapter of my life. However, the universe had other plans. 3 months after landing that dream job and a glowing review, I was let go from this role. I was completely gobsmacked. And if that wasn't enough, a few months later, we were told by doctors that it was very unlikely that we would have the family we've been dreaming of naturally. I remember when I received the news that we were unable to conceive, my heart dropped to my stomach. I remember in that moment looking over at my husband and thinking I just shattered his dream of becoming a dad. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I felt so out of control. I honestly thought that at the age of 27, I would never be employed again or have someone call me mommy. Now, this is the part where you probably thought that I had it all figured out because I created this life of my dreams, a home, a career where I could thrive, and a loving family. Now, I'd like to tell you all that in that moment, I surrendered to the universe and everything unfolded perfectly. But that was not the case. It took me another 10 years to slowly let go of the need to control every situation in my life. And how many of you in this room can relate to wanting to have control over the outcome of a situation so bad? Right? Almost everyone. And why do you think we humans want to have control over a situation? Because having control gives us a feeling of stability and order and safety. So if we can have control over the situation, we can feel safe. But what happens if that desired outcome doesn't go in our favor? In my situation, being let go from my dream job, I felt like the ground shifted beneath my feet and nothing made sense to me anymore. I thought I did all the right things, and yet here I was, unemployed, and that was scary. And guess where my mind went first? I like to refer to this as the blame game. I blamed myself. Maybe if they liked me, maybe if I was a better employee, I could have saved my job. I then blamed the others, my employer. How could they be so insensitive? I actually received a glowing review a few days before my involuntary departure. Our ego brains can craft the wildest stories to keep us in victim mode, to keep us safe. I lost my job and I couldn't have a family naturally. How was I going to control this? I didn't know how to control it because I didn't know what the outcome held. Now, some of you might think that, show of hands in this room, how many of you have ever had a foolproof plan only for it to go completely in the opposite direction? Right? And I bet you at the time you might have said to yourself, or maybe you said out loud, a big WTF universe, right? I sat with these feelings too, trying to fix myself, trying to figure out where I went wrong. And this took me down several paths of reading many self-help books, listening to podcasts, and trying meditation for the first time. Eventually, I found therapy. Now, I saw therapy as a last resort because I was raised that you didn't burden anyone with your problems. You sorted them out on your own and you moved on. But you see, the more I tried to sort it out on my own, the more alone I felt. Thankfully, a friend convinced me to go, which turned out to be my saving grace. And in one session, my therapist said something to me I will never forget. She said, "Ashley, you didn't fail. They failed you." And I later realized that it's not happening to me. It's happening for me. In the case of my job and my infertility, there was nothing I could have done differently to have a different outcome. With my job, it had nothing to do with me as a person. I simply wasn't a fit for the role. And my body didn't fail me. This was all part of the bigger plan. There was a shift that was taking place within me. I was slowly letting go of the need to control all the situations in my life because I knew it just wasn't possible. Once I zoomed out of these situations, I began to see patterns that were woven through me because of my upbringing, who I surrounded myself with, and the media I consumed. All played factors into my beliefs. And there's this quote by Charlotte Whitten that says, "Whatever women do, they must do twice as well as men to be thought of half as good." We women are held to this certain standard. Historically, women have been at a disadvantage. So it's no wonder we as women think that we're less than and that we must work twice as hard to succeed. And that if a situation changes, it somehow has something to do with us. There is so much blame, shame, and guilt with women striving above all else to succeed. Whether they want to or not, modern day corporate women should know how to raise tiny humans, climb the corporate ladder, while juggling soccer practice and yoga class, which happens to be at the same time, and baking nut-free, sugar-free, organic cookies before 8 a.m. the next morning. Raise your hand if this sounds a little bit like your life. Right? How impossible is that? It's no wonder you're feeling like you're on the brink of burnout. If you can resonate with these feelings, I've got something for you today. It's a permission slip to unchain and unshame yourself. I want you to create a new belief that will support you no matter what. I want you to embody the feeling of freedom. Now, some of you might think it's a far stretch from control to freedom, and it was for me. But that's why I'm here today, to help you condense the timeline that it took me to fully understand that if you're controlling, you're not truly free. Now that I've shared with you an exercise, I want to share this exercise with you. I learned this exercise many years ago, and I still use it to this day. I want you to envision that you have a hula hoop. And if it's easier for you, you can go down and close down your eyes and envision this hula hoop in your mind's eye. What color is it? Is it sparkly? Is it striped? And just envision this imaginary hula hoop. And now I want you to place this hula hoop around your body. Just notice it around your body. And now listen up, because what I'm going to say to you next is very important. You can only control what's inside your hula hoop. You cannot control what's outside of it. So let that sink in. You can only control what's inside your hula hoop. You cannot control anything outside of it. So what does this mean? You can go ahead and open your eyes now. You can only control how you react to situations, your feelings, and your attitude. You cannot control the outcome of a situation, how others perceive you, other people's feelings. And this exercise is part of the first pillar of my Savvy Sovereign Woman method, in helping women walk from that place of control to freedom. And the second pillar is stepping into your light. Here you will learn tools to truly embody freedom, and I'm going to share one of those tools with you today. And the third pillar is embodying freedom. Here you will use those tools to truly embody the feeling of freedom. And the fourth pillar is community. It's in community where you will anchor in these feelings of freedom in all areas of your life. And so many of the women I work with come to me seeking what they can control and what they can't. But if we zoom out just a little, it's really the balance between masculine and feminine energies. And in our corporate world right now, it's dominated by masculine energy. And I don't just mean men. Women too can possess masculine energy in the workplace. And masculine energy shows up like doing, achieving, performing. And feminine energy is this embodiment state of being and nurturing and empathetic. Historically, women have rarely seen as being both achieving and nurturing in the workplace. So they come to me to help them truly embody and break free from that need to control and welcome in that flow and ease into their lives. Now, I've shared with you how I've gone from control to freedom in my life. And now I want to walk you through an exercise that will offer you a new possibility. So I want you to think of a situation on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe it's a 5, where you're trying to control the outcome of a situation. And I'm going to give you a moment now just to think about that in your mind. And once you have that, I'm going to invite you now to close down your eyes. I promise I'm not going to put you to sleep this afternoon. So just go ahead and close down your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, pausing at the top, and exhaling through your nose. Letting go of all the events of today, letting go of what's happening in this room, and just coming back to your breath. And I want you to envision now that you're on a beach, feeling the sun on your face, hearing the waves crashing on shore, feeling the sand beneath your feet. And now I want you to begin walking down this beach, one foot in front of the other, walking down this beach. And up ahead, you notice something. As you walk up to it, it's a seashell. And I want you to bend down right now, and I want you to pick up this seashell and place this seashell in your hand. And this seashell represents that situation that you're trying to control the outcome of. It's playing back to you. What do you see? What do you hear? Who is in this movie that's playing back to you in this situation? Just notice. And now I want you to take this seashell and place it at the water's edge. And as you do, a wave comes crashing on shore and takes your seashell out to sea. Gone. Released. And as you're looking out at the ocean, how do you feel now? And now it's time to go back to the place where you started. As you begin to walk down the beach, you take one more look out at that ocean, and you begin walking down the beach, one foot in front of the other, feeling that sand beneath your feet, the sun on your face, the waves crashing on shore. And once you get back to your place, I want you to take another deep breath here, pausing at the top and exhaling. I want you to come back into the room, come back into your body, and open your eyes. Show of hands, how many of you feel different about that situation now? See, pretty much everyone has their hand up. This is what embodying freedom can feel like. Now, when you do try to control a situation, it can feel very tight. But when you release that control and allow yourself to welcome in, instead of blaming yourself and others like I did, you look at it with a different perspective on what lesson you're meant to learn and what's a new possibility you can create. The opposite of blame is taking responsibility, which is part of pillar number 2 of the Savvy Sovereign Woman method. But sometimes when you're in it, and I call this like being in the mud, sometimes when you're in the mud, you can't see your way out. You may not even know you're controlling the situation. But if you zoom out to a wider perspective, you will see and understand what lesson you're meant to learn and what's a new possibility that you can create here. You see, control and freedom can't play in the same sandbox. And so some of you are here and you might be in a job that feels constricting. Maybe you're a parent and you're feeling defeated most days, feeling guilty and blame yourself for your child's behavior. Or maybe you have a family member who's not making the best choices right now and you're trying to get them to see it your way. All of these situations can feel very frustrating, stressful, and exhausting. But there's a beautiful gift in knowing you can't control the outcome of any of those situations. This is where the medicine is. You now have the knowledge and one of the many tools I teach to break free from that need to control and to see it with a new perspective. Instead of a controller, you're seeing it with more freedom now. And so the women I work with are slowly letting go of the need to control all the things in their life, layer by layer, so they can show up feeling free. No matter what's happening in their life, they have the ability to break free from control and truly embody that feeling of freedom. And as their guide, I help them unravel the blame, shame, and guilt that they feel. And they are truly embodying the Savvy Sovereign Woman. So as I close today, my wish for you is freedom within. I want you to have the feeling of freedom no matter what is happening in your external life. Connection and community is the foundation of the work that I do with the women that I work with, creating a safe and nurturing space where they can take off all their masks and be themselves. Today, you took your first step with me in breaking free the need to control a situation in your life and embodying what the feeling of freedom can feel like. You are becoming a savvy, sovereign woman. Thank you. And here are some ways, because I know everyone wants to stay connected. And at the bottom, you may want to take a screenshot of this because I offer a gift on my website. It's a recording of the meditation I walked you through this afternoon. So anytime you're feeling the need of trying to control a situation, you'll have access to this meditation to let that go. Thank you.